This call is being recorded. If you do not wish to be recorded, please disconnect at this time.
Mr. Simmons, are you there?
Yes.
Okay. For the record, this is Daniel Eisenman calling, and as I've told you, I represent Mr. Grossman, who was driving in the truck that was involved in the motor vehicle collision on March 19, 2019 that you had witnessed. You understand that, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And that day, prior to when the collision happened, can you tell me which direction you were traveling and where you were before the collision happened?
Okay. Before the collision happened, you want to say when I was on Sunset Valley Road? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. How did you get to Sunset Valley Road? Yeah.
Off of 51 Highway. I turned on the Sunset Valley Road and I turned onto Sunset and went about a half a mile and turned around in a parking lot.
And why did you turn onto Sunset Valley Road?
Because there was smoke and there was fire.
And that smoke had affected the visibility on Highway 51, correct?
Yes.
And at the time of the collision, you were sitting at the stop sign at the intersection of Sunset Valley and Highway 51, correct?
Yes.
And so from the time you pulled onto Sunset Valley, I believe you said you drove about half a mile, turned around, got to that stop sign. Would you say that was at least a few minutes in time?
Yes. Yes.
And so the road during that entire time was smoky, from what you can tell, correct?
Yes.
Do you know how far down Highway 51 in both directions the smoke was at the time of the collision?
I've thought about that, and the entrance to, I started noticing both the entrance to Sequoia State Park.
Do you know about how far away from the collision that was?
No.
Approximately?
I mean, at that time where it was at, I mean, it was getting smoky right there, but it was, I mean, I could see enough to turn down the road, put it that way. I could turn down Sunset Valley. So it wasn't as bad as when I went back when I got back up onto the highway.
Is that east of the collision site or west of the collision site?
Let me think. That would be east.
East of the collision site? Okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to think.
East Sunset Valley is north, goes north and south.
Right. So it was, when I was coming in, that would have been to the, I want to say that would be the west of it. I'm sorry, I apologize. The west of it, yeah.
Okay. Were you traveling down 51 going west?
No, I was going back to the east.
Okay. But there was smoke both east and west of Sunset Valley, right?
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
There was smoke on both sides, so I turned.
Do you know how far east of Sunset Valley the smoke was at the time of the collision?
I couldn't see at the time of the collision. I could not see.
Would you say was it down the road at least a few hundred yards?
Oh, at least, yeah.
At least a few hundred yards. Okay.
Yeah.
And that smoke was in the vicinity, the few hundred yards down the road east of Sunset Valley. It was in that vicinity from the time you turned off of Highway 1 to Sunset Valley, right?
Highway 51. It wasn't like it was when I came back. It started getting bad. Like I said, the wind changed, and it just got worse.
Okay, it got worse, but from the time you turned around, that few hundred yards east of Sunset Valley on 51, the smoke was still bad enough where it affected the visibility, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's why I turned off the road.
Okay. And do you understand that there were two vehicles that ran into my client's vehicle, Mr. Grossman's vehicle?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. And were you able to see the collision happening?
No. I heard it.
And how long was the smoke that bad for before the collision happened? When I started back towards 51, which I've been going south, back towards 51, it started getting bad, and that's when I thought. Once the winds changed, it started getting where I couldn't see, so I stopped right there. I didn't try to get back. I knew Barry getting back on the highway. So. Is it your opinion that those vehicles shouldn't have been driving in that smoke at the speeds they were driving?
No. No.
Do you think? Let me ask you this: was Mr. Grossman stopped at the time of the collision? Do you know?
Yes. I can tell you this: I was sitting right there. All I could barely see is his flashes, and I knew they were stopped. I knew the cars were stopped.
So, those cars that were driving into the smoke like that, did it seem like they're basically driving with the blindfold on? I can't tell you that. I know you couldn't see it. I couldn't hardly see my hand in front of my face, how dark, how much smoke there was at that time. I mean, I say that. I could see his flashes better than that. You just couldn't see that far in front of you, That was it. And I just heard it when I had my window. It was so smoky. I couldn't hardly see. Like I said, I didn't see him hit him. I was sitting, off the road right there where they hit. I could not see him hit him. Okay. Okay, and just for the record, I haven't promised you any money, haven't coerced you. That you've given all these statements on your own free will, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and one last thing, should have said this for the record at the beginning, but the date is October 14th, 2020. The time is now 2:47 p.m. I'm going to go ahead and turn this off, Mr. Simmons, if you could hold on.
Okay.
This call has been recorded.